Job 1, verse 21. Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. These words were spoken by a man that had just lost everything. Job had great wealth, and in the course of a day, his wealth and his children were taken from him because it was a trial. Sometimes in life we go through trials where the Lord will put us through things to see how we will truly act. And Job's trial was directly from Satan. And Satan believing that if God removed his hedge of protection, that Job would curse him right to his face. It's in chapter 1 there. You can go back and read it if you want to. I've got a few points that I'm going to make in this video today. But first one I want to make is Job was blessed and protected. It says so. It says so in the beginning of this first chapter. He was very wealthy. He had sheep and camels and oxes and axes and children, and I mean, he had everything going for him. And Satan asked God to remove his hedge of protection. Let's see if I can find the exact verse. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth? A perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Shooeth away, I reckon is what that means. And Satan told him, Hast not thou made a hedge about him? A hedge about him and his house, and all that he hath on every side. So in other words, Satan had considered Job and had this thought about going after him. But God was blessing everything that Job touched, and his substance was increasing in the land. Okay, that tells me that if you do things the Lord's way, He will bless you. And He can put a hedge of protection around you, your family, and all of your businesses, and all of your dealings. Because it says right here, now what do you have to do to receive the blessing? To be a perfect and upright man and escheweth evil. That's what Job was doing. He was trying his best each and every day to be better and better and better. That's what we do as Christians. We're none are perfect. Job was like unto no other. And Jesus came and was perfect. Now, we could achieve such uprightness. I'm not here to say, but I can tell you that it is our goal as Christians, as men and women of the faith, to try and be better each and every day. We may fail, we may stumble, but we have to get back up and keep marching forward for the Lord. And if you do the best you can, and you consider praying for a hedge of protection over you and your family and everything that you touch and need and love and want, the Lord will give it. He gave it to Job, and Job was increasing in the land. His substance was multiplying in the land because God was taking care of Job. And up to this point, it says in chapter 1, all of his stuff, his possessions, were very great. But in a day, I mean, just really fast, he lost everything. And y'all, that's a hard pill to swallow. I've lost a lot, but it all didn't come down in one day. And this first thing on my mind was not to pray a prayer that the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, blessed be the name of the Lord. That is a powerful man that has his mind on straight. To lose all of his business and his children and his servants in that day. Just imagining the enormity of the situation. He did not curse God. His wife even came up to him at some point down the road and said, why don't you just curse God and die? But he did not, and he kept moving forward. And he blessed the Lord and thanked the Lord for his life. I mean, it even affected his health. This was a very bad trial that Job had to go through. And to still stand up for the Lord and to defeat Satan, utterly defeat Satan and his belief that Job was not an upright, perfect man. Defeat him to the point where you don't hear from Satan anymore in the Old Testament after that. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a Bible scholar that spent many, many years in the Bible. I've just listened to some sermons and trying to put things together for myself and put it out there the way I see it. Now, if you pray for that hedge of protection over yourself and your family and those that you love and need, I'm a firm believer God will give it to you. Even in the worst storms, God is in control. You have to, at some point, have faith that God is in control and God will protect you, because you look at the things that happened to Job so quick. They could have happened at any day before, any day previous to that day, but God was protecting him. People could have come and stole his animals. Lightning could have come and struck his animals. The wind could have come and killed his children any day previous to that day. But God was protecting him from the storms and the illnesses and the lightning and everything that came on him. Previous to that, God had a hedge over him. And God can have a hedge over you and your family. He can protect you in the worst situations. Yes, he gives us common sense. If there's a flood and he sends somebody with a boat, get in the boat. If you're sinking on a ship and somebody comes to save you, go with them, because God sent them there. Don't wait and say God's going to save me and just sink down with the ship. There's so many people that can't see the salvation coming for them that they won't go with it. They won't follow it. They'll just sit there and sink and perish. You have to have your mind open to what the Lord is providing. He will open doors for you to walk through, and he will close doors sometimes. And when he closes them doors, if you keep pushing, whatever you're pushing, you're going to perish. You're going to fall backwards. You may want things that the Lord knows is not good for you, and therefore, the more you try, the more it hurts you. Look at Jonah and the boat. They ended up having to kick Jonah out of the boat because things were going so bad for them. You think they wanted to do that? But they knew if they didn't, they would all perish. It was a lot going on for them. And you'll know in life when things start going really bad, that's when you need to stop and reevaluate. Are you moving in the direction that the good Lord wants you to move in? You need to pray, and you need to have some very, very in-depth in-depth conversations with the Lord to make sure that you're doing the correct thing. And, you know, be open to the doors that He's showing you, because He's probably got something a lot better for you than the thing that you are planning for you. The thing that you are pushing so hard for, you know, might not be what God wants you to have. I'll use myself for instance. I started this business with the sole goal to pay my home off early and to get out of debt and to never get back in a bad situation, because I was in a situation where we almost lost our home, and I was going to have to explain to my wife and child that I lost the home, that I was not able to protect them. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that was not something I was willing to do, is to lose that home. So I had to find another way. I had to get out of my comfort zone and find some kind of way to recover what I had lost, even if it meant being gone away from home more than I was. And well, we did it. The Lord provided. I found Schneider and we got in with them. Actually, we went to KLLM for a couple weeks and got a sign-on bonus, which helped protect from the repo. And then we were able to move straight on over to Schneider pretty quickly. And once I got in there, man, I was able to keep my day rate up and my costs down, and I just ran. From the time I got my truck, I was out 7 days straight. And I was not that driver. I'm not that driver that stays out that long. But sometimes you have to put forth the extra effort in order to save those you love. And we did that. I mean, we suffered being gone whenever, you know, I wanted to be home. I want to be home and be with my family and have the family life, because they need me and I need them. That's just the way we are wired. But in order to save our family home and protect them, I had to step out and do the thing that God had for me that I didn't really know was out there. And look, He has blessed me. Last year we did pretty well, but this year not so much. I think He is pushing and directing me into a different direction. I don't pretend to understand what He's got in store for me now. All I do know is at this moment I'm being forced to run more than I wanted to. But we'll talk more about that down the road. The point that I was trying to make in this video was to encourage a lot of y'all to be in prayer, to ask for that hedge of protection, because whenever things get really bad, God's the only one that you need to be able to lean on. Mankind, the government, the church, they will all disappoint you and fail you, but God will not fail you. All things work for the glory of the Lord. If you believe that and you pray to Him constantly and you try to do the right thing, each day you get up, say your prayers and try to be a better man or a better woman. And that's what I believe you need to do in order to have a better and fuller life. Because this life will kick you and beat you and keep you down if you allow it. Don't allow it. Serve the Lord and let the Lord pick you up and keep you safe. We did pay off our home a little early. We were able to expand the business. We were able to do things that I had set out. The direct shipper that I wanted for so long, the errands, where I was working at before we lost our contract with that one company, I was able to go in there with my own trucks and run that contract. We did that for a long time, home every night. And running them trucks for errands was a good experience. It was tiring. It was work. Whenever you have a direct shipper, it's like you're an employee again. It really is. I mean, you really have to be there when they say be there and do what they say do. And it's hard to get used to, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. And, well, I ended up leaving them under some other circumstances that, y'all will get if y'all keep in tune and in touch with what we're doing over here. I think that God may be pushing me into a different direction of trucking. I'm trying to walk through some doors that I've seen him opening. They're not easy. I mean, some of them are quite scary. I had an ordeal yesterday that was kind of scary. I mean, but I've got to have faith that he's going to protect me and he's going to keep me safe through the trials, through the tribulations, and he's going to put a hedge of protection over me and my wife and my son, and my extended family, over all of us, The Lord does give and he does take away. He may have shrunk my business, but he has increased my family. Some family that I have not been able to have contact with in quite a long time. Recently, we have regained contact, and it's better than before. Before we lost contact. Now, it just seems to be a lot more open and honest and loving. And all I want in the world is to have my family all together and loving and happy. At one time I wanted to make my family proud. Talking about my mom and my dad and my grandparents and stuff. Well, all before we got married I was just focused on trying to make my family proud. And now what I want is them to be happy. As far as what I want don't even come into the picture anymore. As I've grown, it's become a situation to where what I want is for them and not myself, if that makes any sense, because there's so much unhappiness and discontent in this world. All I want for all of my family is just to be happy, to have good days and no worries. That means the world to me. And it's hard for people to make it in this world and to not fall into the negativity and the hurt that is in the world. And to see my family smile and their children smile, and to go through life having good days and making big plans, that right there just melts my heart. And it should for you, for your family. You need to be the rock for them. You need to pray for them. You need to stand up for them. You need to be there for them when they want you. Even when they don't want you, you need to try to be there. Man or woman, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You want to be there for your family, for your kids, your grandparents, your parents, your aunts, your uncles. If they need you, do your best to be there for them. And trust me, in this life, they will need you. They will need you even when they don't think they need you, ladies and gentlemen. Because life is hard. Life is a trial. It is a test of our worthiness to be with the Lord God Almighty for eternity. Anyway, that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. God bless, and I will catch y'all on the next ride.